What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the first video in God knows how long on this channel, the WPF YouTube channel. I am one of the mods of the league, Big L56, and
I am the other long-running mod, T4U.
Say other long-running mod like I'm a long-running mod.
Yeah, sorry. I am the long-running mod. I am the other mod.
And this is just a little thing we slapped together. This is the season 10 officially unofficial power rankings. So just a little rundown of how we're gonna do this. All we're gonna do is we're gonna go team to team on the dock. Normally the dock would be kind of more filled out, but a certain somebody who will not be named doesn't give the other mods permission to really do anything, so things aren't done yet. So we're kind of behind.
He's a dictator and needs to be stopped. Fight him.
So sorry if the pages look a little bit bare, but what we're gonna do, we're just gonna go along the bottom of the dock, starting with Nelson's team, which is SUP. Hoopa. I hope I said that right. And we're just gonna say a few things that we like, a few things we don't like, things we like, ways we think the team could be better, maybe. And at the end, we will give our rankings of 16 to 1.
All right. This is the official legal disclaimer. These are our opinions. They are not facts. They don't take known coach skill into account, because we haven't seen everybody battle. We don't know how good you are necessarily. And it's not necessarily fair to use past knowledge from some people, but not have it for others. So this is purely based on what the team looks like and not the pilot behind it.
Correct. And, just again, this is just our opinions. So take it with a whole handful of salt if you don't like something we say. It's I'm just going to say...
Maybe not that much salt. That's bad for your heart.
I'm just going to say, if we have you ranked high up, we say a lot of good things, prove us right. If we have you ranked near the bottom, prove us wrong.
Use it as the fuel for your fire on your endless vengeance.
Absolutely. I love nothing more than to be proven wrong about this. This is my first time ever doing power rankings, so be gentle.
It's not my first time. You can be a little ruder to me.
All right, so, and I think we're going to have a little announcement at the end of this, too, which is something I've been kind of working on. That I forgot to make a slide for, but it's okay. I'll post a doc. I'll post rules and stuff, but it's fine.
You can put a link in the
chat,
the video description.
Yeah, I could do that too, maybe. But all right, so we'll get right into it, and we will get right into it with Coach Nelson and the Hoopa. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. He has a team.
If that's not how you say it, I don't know how you would.
Yeah, Hoopa. That doesn't sound as fun though. But he has a team of Mega Diancie. I'm gonna turn this down in my ear a little bit. Mega Diancie, Dragonite, Ferrothorn, Buzzwole, Entei, Milotic, Alolan Muck, Slurpuff, Lantern, Claydol, and Volbeat. T4U, first impression of the team.
I don't think there are any bad pieces except Volbeat, but Volbeat's a fun piece. I think it's got really good pieces. They're just all clumped right at the same speed. They're all right between 60 and 80, and I think that's going to be a big constraint on team building.
Right, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. I don't like that the only real pivots I see, I think, are Milotic and Volbeat. Lantern gets Volt Switch, but that's a
Claydol gets teleport.
Oh, Claydol gets teleport. That's cool. Yes. And I'm pretty sure it only has one Wisher, and that's Slurpuff.
Yes, that is correct.
Which is a mon you're not always gonna want to run Wish on. You could always run Wish on it, and then outside of Alolan Muck, which gets Shadow Sneak, and Entei, and Dragonite, which get E-Speed, I don't really see a lot of priority on a team that's not that fast.
I mean, Volbeat has Prankster, but there's no damaging priority there.
Right.
Yeah, I think if the webs are up, this team's going to do really well.
Yes.
If Slurpuff sets those webs, but Slurpuff doesn't want to be a web setter every week. And I think that's where the problem's going to come in.
But overall, I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see Dragonite.
I'm excited to see Volbeat. I've never seen anyone draft Volbeat.
Neither have I. No, Dragonite. I don't know. Dragonite's one of those Pokemon. Like I feel like, and we voted on moving it down this season, and unfortunately, it did get voted to stay in Tier 1 because I do think that's where it belongs. It got some not direct buffs this generation with the introduction of heavy duty boots, meaning you don't have to worry about stealth rocks breaking the multi-scale, and it got a good physical flying move in dual wing.
It also got the hidden ability capsule or ability patch or whatever it's called.
Oh yes.
So now it can run Heal Bell, which was a Gen 3 exclusive move, with multi-scale, which was a Gen 5 and after hidden ability.
Which is
so that is a small but nice buff.
Pretty cool. So it's just a little thing that your opponent would have to be ready for. Also, I like Entei. I think Entei's strong. Like Banded, Sacred Fire, just kind of go burr. If the webs are up, nothing really wants to switch into that. But
yeah, I think this team has great physical defense. Maybe not the best special defense outside of Ferrothorn. It's not really particularly great at soaking them up. Lantern and Muck can take a few hits, but they can't ever heal them off, and that's gonna make this team more chippable than it looks.
Right. So, anything else?
No, I think I'm good here.
All right, so we will move on to our next team, which is Wolferous and the Hisuian Hydreigons. So we get 2 new coaches right off the bat, which is interesting. And his team is Mega Gardevoir, Hydreigon, Toxapex, Mamoswine, Umbreon, Breloom, Galvantula, Talonflame, Mismagius, or Mismagius, however you want to say it, Smeargle, and Tangela. My first thoughts when I saw this team, whenever we were looking into teams, was fighting types and fairy types are going to have a very good time against this team, especially once Toxapex goes down.
If Pex goes down, the rest of the team hates those 2 things. This team's going to be relying really heavily on Toxapex.
Other than that, I mean, I think it's a pretty major problem to have, because those are two very good offensive typings, especially obviously Fairy, the best type in the game. I do like the hazard options this team has. In Galvantula, one of the best web setters. Mamoswine, Rock, Smeargle has everything.
This is the first team to have every hazard, and the only team to have 2 sticky web setters, which I think is a neat little bit of versatility.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't really. I mean, you think typically, if you have them on that Galvantula, you don't think, oh, I'm gonna need a second web setter. But now it's an extra move that you could potentially run on Galvantula. As someone who's used Galvantula a few times successfully, I can say, sometimes Galvantula can suffer from that 4 move slot syndrome because you're always devoting one of those move slots to sticky webs. So you're not really able to, because you're gonna run sticky webs, Volt Switch, Thunder, and then Bug Move. Now,
and now you can afford Giga Drain.
Yeah, you can afford to run Giga Drain, or if you're not worried about getting health back, you can run You can run Energy Ball. But yeah, and it just gives you a little bit. It just gives you a little bit more versatility, I think, having Breloom, Smeargle with the Galvantula.
I think this team excels in exactly 2 places. It has a really great defensive trio in Umbreon, Tangela, Toxapex. That is going to be a nightmare to break. And it has really good heavy hitters at about 100 base speed with Gardevoir, Hydreigon, and the Mamoswine's a little slower, but still right about in that range. If the webs stay up, this team's going to be a nightmare to beat.
And
If the
please,
webs go down,
please, if you're watching this, Wolf, please use Breloom well. I want someone to use Breloom well in draft.
it looks so fun every time.
Yes.
I can never justify it.
So just from me and T4U to you, please use Breloom well. So anything else to add?
I think this team is very good. It just has exploitable weaknesses that it's going to be up to Wolferous to see how your opponent's going to try to deal with them and get around that. And if he can do that, he's going to do great.
All right. So moving on to our next coach, our first returning coach, and that is Coach Nolan and the Wooloo Mooloo Wooloos. That's fun to say. He has a team of Mega Lopunny, Kyurem, Skarmory, Rotom Heat, Slowking, Roserade, Zarude, Rabombi, Doublade, Rhyperior, and Barbaric. So what stands out to you at first on this team?
This team has probably the most evenly distributed speeds of any team I've seen. It's got a little bit of, it's got somebody in every gap except for the 110s and the 50s, which are really not too all that bad, all things considered. So I think it's done a really good job of covering its bases all across the board.
I really like the idea of Lopunny with webs. I wish. What's the only wisher on this team? I'm blanking. Is it Rabombi?
There are no wishers on this team.
So there
are
you
three
go.
sources of Heal Bell or Aromatherapy, but no wishers.
That would be why I had wish support written down in my notes. There's no wish support. And no, I thought there was one. I thought I saw there was one, but I guess not. So yeah, there's no wish support, which I don't like, especially with something like Mega Lopunny, and Rotom Heat. Rotom Heat, if you're gonna run it defensive, you're really gonna want to get those wishes back. And Rhyperior. Rhyperior not being able to heal itself. Same with Doublade. Doublade can't heal itself. Which, but it's not that big as a, not as big of a deal but it's still, something I would like to see.
Team does not require Wish to function well, but it's a nice backup option to have.
Fighting types can be a little scary for this team. And then there's not a lot of priority options, which I don't care for. But his team's fast. It's fast, but then there's webs, so you got to think people are going to be bringing that priority against you. But I don't think it's going to be that much of an issue for his team. I don't think priority's that much of a problem, and I think this team, top to bottom, this team is very good.
My favorite thing about this team is that I don't have to fight it in the regular season at all. I just went and checked my schedule. I don't face it once, and that's great, and I love that because I don't want to face this. This team is awful looking.
And Mega Lopunny is so fun. I hope you enjoy it, man. I really do. I loved using Mega Lopunny back in Season 8. I loved using Mega Lopunny. It's so fun. I think that's the only Pokemon on this team I've used, so I can't really speak to anything else.
I think I've used everything on this team except Zarude.
Zarude is a Pokemon that looks fun. I don't like the typing, but it's a Pokemon that looks fun to me. I really want
Another note. This is the second of 3 teams in the entire draft that has all 4 types of hazard. So you've got a lot to deal with. You better bring good hazard control versus Nolan.
Yes, absolutely.
Whether or not he uses them is another story, but you better be prepared for it.
Absolutely. So, moving on.
Sure.
We have Rock and the T-Town Toxics. He has a team of Mega Venusaur, Clefable, Azelf, Bisharp, Lycanroc Dusk, Politoed, Crobat, Ninetales, Jolteon, Gastrodon, and Hitmonchan. So with this team, I think Clef is gonna have to hold this whole team together. I think there's some.
Yeah.
I think there's some good pieces here. Like Ninetales with Mega Venusaur is really can be really good. Because you can get that. You get your chlorophyll boost. You can get a growth off, and you can tear through a team even itemless, which is what regular Venusaur would be. It's got good speed tiers. There's no big noticeable gaps, except for 60 down to 39, but that's not a gap that you really worry about.
That's an irrelevant gap.
Yeah, that's a gap that you're not running speed at those tiers anyway, so it's not like it matters. And yeah, I think speed tiers is one of the this is one of the most well-rounded speed tier teams. Is in this draft. I wish it had better pivot options, but it's not terrible. Because I know Azelf gets U-turn, Crobat gets U-turn, Jolteon gets a Volt Switch. Pretty sure that's it. Does Clefable get teleport?
Clefable gets teleport.
Okay, so that's pretty good too. But yeah, what do you think?
I think this is going to come down to being the Clefable and Mega Venusaur show every single week. Those are the two best pieces on this team, and they're also the most self-sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand what Politoed is doing here. There's no rain abusers at all, unless you count Jolteon being able to spam Thunder, which doesn't really count. So I'm just kind of confused why Politoed over any other bulky water. And I think either Politoed could be another Sun abuser, or one of the other Mons.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious if maybe he got when he picked Politoed, because I'm thinking maybe that got sniped.
Maybe, but there's a lot of rain abusers that didn't get drafted. Like even Ludicolo would have been cheap and good.
But I was just trying to think like reasons why maybe he drafted Politoed. He didn't really draft it as a rain setter. Maybe just drafted it as a bulky water. Maybe he got sniped.
Yes, you got Gastrodon right there.
Yeah, you got Gastrodon too. So
that's a better bulky water.
Yeah, I would agree. Unless you're gonna run rain. And yeah, I think because you're not gonna try to run, because one of my notes said which weather, but like that kind of doesn't make sense because like you said, you're not really gonna be preparing for rain against this team.
It's gonna be sun every time.
Right.
Rain doesn't make this team harder to face. It just makes it hit a little bit harder.
Right.
Or more consistently even. It doesn't even give it a power boost.
Right.
One thing I did notice about this team, there are 4 setters of Stealth Rocks, but no other hazards, and only 2 Mons on this team can actually remove hazards, and neither of them wants to do it consistently. Hitmonchan and Crobat both don't want to always be the hazard remover.
Right. Alright. So, moving on, we have Waka and his Chelsea Chestnuts. His team is Mega Houndoom, Celesteela, Zeraora, Slowking Galarian, Togekiss, Silvally, Swampert, Mienshao, Miltank, Cradily, and Wartortle. So, what do you think, sir?
I don't think any of the pieces are bad. I'm struggling to see how they come together. Like, right. I don't know why you have Swampert, but also Wartortle when they do most of the same stuff.
Yeah. One of the things that stood out to me was the same thing you pointed out about Rock's team, which is all of his hazard removal mons are not mons that you're always going to want to run hazard removal on, or even bring. Like, you're not always going to want to bring Defog on Silvally or Togekiss, and you're not always going to want to bring Wartortle for Rapid, just because it's Wartortle.
Every time Wartortle comes, it has a spot for Rapid Spin, but Wartortle is a liability some weeks.
Right. That was one of the first things that stood out to me. I like his speed. His speed tiers are handled well. I kind of feel the same way about his removal as I do about his wish support, like Togekiss being your only wish. That's not a Pokemon you're always going to want to bring wish on.
Right. It's not as bad at wishing as Slurpuff is, but it still wants to do lots of other things instead.
Right. Those were really the only negatives I saw with the team. Like personally, it's like things that like really stood out was like just those two main things.
Yeah, I think every piece here is good.
Yes.
The problem I'm seeing is that I don't see a way that it all comes together to make one consistent game plan. Like, I don't know why Houndoom Mega is here. I think I remember Waka saying that it was for the speed it was at, 115, which is really nice.
Yeah, which is nice. You need to, if you have something at 143, you need to have something in the 110, 115, 120 area to kind of mitigate that gap between, 143 and 105. You need to have something in there.
I agree. I just don't know that Mega Houndoom was the right choice for it.
Yeah, you would like to see, even if it was something cheaper, like Torkoal is there. So you'd like to see him have something that can set up the sun for Houndoom to abuse. But that's just, I think that's, for me, it's a little bit nitpicky. But that solar power boost could make a big difference in some weeks.
Yeah, honestly, I think one swap that would make this team much better in my eyes: drop Swampert, pick up Torkoal in that spot. You keep the Stealth Rock setter. You get a remover who can always afford to spin. You get the sun to power up Houndoom. I think that would be a great overall swap.
Yeah, that could be really, really good for him. But overall, like I said, like I think we've hammered this home. I don't think there's any one piece on this team that's bad.
Right.
And like he's got a nice little regen core in Mienshao Slowking. Celesteela can do a lot of good things. It can be offensive, it can be defensive.
Slowking Celesteela is going to be disgusting to try to get through.
Yes, that's going to be very, very hard for opponents to get through. But yeah. Are you ready to move on?
I'm good.
Alrighty, so on to Panda of Redness and the Distortion World Dupes. We have some interesting names this season, I tell you.
I'm loving team names are great this time around.
He has a team of Mega Aerodactyl, Galarian Darmanitan, Sylveon, Starmie, Nidoqueen, Arcanine, Duraludon, Decidueye, Ditto, Heliolisk, and Liepard. Whose turn was it to go first? Was it mine or yours?
I don't know. Go ahead.
Let me pull up my notes here. I think he's got pretty good momentum. I like a lot of pieces that he has on this team. With Mega Aerodactyl is really, really strong. Starmie is good. It's good guy. Heliolisk, obviously, I love Heliolisk. I've used it a bunch of times in singles. I even used it in VGC. Darmanitan, Galarian Darm was a really, really nice late pickup for this team. I don't like Duraludon particularly on this team. I don't think Duraludon's one of those Pokemon that you should take in singles. I like it in VGC. I'm not a fan of it in singles. But that's the only Pokemon on this team that I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I would like this Pokemon. But yeah, overall, it's got good momentum. It's got, I think, it doesn't have the best removal. It's got, I think, Decidueye gets Defog, and Starmie gets Rapid Spin,
and Aerodactyl gets Defog. Technically. It's never ever gonna bring it, but it has it.
You'd say it has it, I guess. But yeah, I don't think this is a bad team. I think it's fast and frail. He's gonna have to bring bulky Arcanine and bulky Nidoqueen a lot. But you're probably gonna bring bulky Arcanine more often than not anyway. But overall, yeah, I think those things aside, I don't think it's a bad team at all. So what do you think?
I think this team has no chill. It only knows how to go forward with the relentlessness of a bulldozer. It doesn't have a good defensive core. It doesn't have a good backpedal and regroup and kind of reset mode. If it's in the lead, it's gonna stay in the lead. If it falls behind, it's not gonna be able to catch up. Everything hits really hard, but there's not really very good setup overall here.
Yeah, outside of Aerodactyl, yeah.
That's kind of Aerodactyl, Combine, Sylveon. Decidueye gets lots of setup, but it's not very good at using it.
Right.
And then Ditto's always that wild card emergency win button that swings games or is completely ineffective.
Yeah, you're either good with Ditto or you're bad with Ditto. I'm bad with Ditto.
And you're either good at prepping to face Ditto or you're not.
Right.
It's really easy to make it so your team can't kill itself, and it's also really easy to forget to do that.
Right. So anything else?
No, I think if this team can stay in the lead, it's not going to be able to get knocked out of the lead. The trick is going to be getting that initial advantage to get there.
Yep. Moving on, we have Kronos and his GWS Gladiators. He has Mega Mawwhile, Tapu Koko, Gliscor, Salamence, Tangrowth, Blastoise, Chandelure, Hitmonlee, Alolan Raichu, my boy Cinnabon, Alolan Persian, and Rhydon. So go ahead, sir.
I really like this team. This is our first team with a dedicated terrain, not necessarily a weather, but a terrain.
Mm-hmm.
Koko and Alolan Raichu is a very strong cleaning up crew. If you manage to get Raichu on the field with the terrain up, something is gonna die. It has enough coverage to make up for its lack of additional power. And with Rising Voltage, if you don't have a ground type, and particularly if you don't have a ground type that can't eat Surf and Grass Knot, Raichu's gonna clean up a lot. Oh, go ahead.
You all right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I really like Alolan Raichu and Koko. That's a fantastic combo. I've used it in draft before in my old pre-WPF days. It's hard. It's hard for opponents to beat if they're not ready for it. Mega Mawwhile hits everything really hard. It's really, really strong. Tangrowth is going to be tough to break. Tangrowth and Gliscor I feel like is a really nice combo. It's got a pretty decent sized speed gap after Blastoise at 78, but that's not too worrisome. I wish it had better wish options. I think one of his wish options, I think his wish options are Alolan Raichu and Salamence, which is two Pokemon that you're never gonna bring wish on. Which, something like Wish could be really, really helpful for Mega Mawwhile, helping it stay around. But that's about it. All of his other bulky Pokemon, like Tangrowth has Regenerator, Gliscor has, Roost and Poison Heal, Salamence has Roost if you want to bring it bulkier. So I don't think it's as big of an issue on this team, but still, you'd like to see it with something like Mega Mawwhile. I'm excited to see Salamence. We voted to move it down to tier 2. And I'm excited to see it. It can be a problem. It's got a lot of good coverage. It can be physical or special. And I'm excited to see how it gets used.
Yeah, I like this team. One thing I noticed, this team is very bad at setting hazards. It's got 3 Stealth Rockers and no other hazards. And one of those Stealth Rockers is Mega Mawwhile, which is never.
Yeah, you're never thinking Stealth Rocks.
But there are 5 different mons that can remove hazards, and a lot of them are good doing it. So I think this team is going to do very well against teams that are trying to hazard stack against it. But it's not going to do as well with teams where it needs that chip to actually get the KO, because it's not very good at getting the initial chip.
Agreed. Yeah. But overall, dude, Kronos, whenever he said he was going to have someone pick his team for him, he could have picked a lot worse than Mitty.
It would have been, yeah, it would have been hard to do better than Mitty. This is a great
This is a
draft
very,
team.
very good team. All right, so moving on, we have Coach Zelda and the Warsaw Rapidash. This team is Mega Gallade, Garchomp, Cinderace, Magnezone, Alolan Ninetales, Mandibuzz, Cobalion, Tentacruel, Venomoth, Audino, and Drifblim. Overall, I think I like this team more than you. I think this team's good, personally. I think it's got good, really nice speed tier. I wish it had better wish support again. But it's got good momentum. There's Cinderace U-turn, Cobalion has Volt Switch, Venomoth U-turn, Mandibuzz U-turn, Magnezone Volt Switch, Audino gets Teleport, if I remember correctly.
It does not.
It doesn't. That's unfortunate. That sucks.
It does not have any way to pivot. It's the one downgrade it has over Chansey besides raw special bulk.
Well, that's just unfortunate because I like Audino personally. And unfortunately, boots are gonna be. He's gonna be running heavy duty boots a lot this season.
I see 5 Pokemon on this team that basically always have to run boots.
Yes, like that's why in my notes I've got boots required. So, but overall, but boots exist now. Like this problem on this team would not have been an issue. Would have been an even bigger issue pre-genning. Because you would have all these Pokemon taking all that chip every single time they switched in. Now it's not as big of an issue. You still have to run heavy duty boots instead of, you can't bring a Life Orb on Cinderace or something like that. But still, it's not as big of a problem, but it's still a problem. But yeah,
I think it's hilarious how long people cried for an item to negate hazard damage, and the second they got one, everyone hates it. It's very funny and satisfying to watch. I do like this team's speed tiers. I think they're really good, except I don't like its speed tiers in this conference, which is half its battles this year. And it's just something tops it out everywhere. So Cinderace is beat by the top of each of Waka and Panda and Kronos' teams. And then Gallade is beat by the second runner-up for the whole team. Like, it's just incrementally slightly slower than the team it's going up against half the season.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But go ahead, sir.
I think the Aurora Veil that Ninetales can set is going to make or break a lot of this team's moments. Venomoth is great at setting up Quiver Dances if it can survive one hit to do it.
Right.
And it's going to need the Veil. Drifblim has some really fun setup opportunities. It needs to eat the first hit to do it. I don't see this team accomplishing much if the Veil stays down. Once the Veil is up, the team has nearly limitless damage potential, but it needs to get there.
All right. So moving on, we have Ryushi in the Pignite Anything Agency. Again, a lot of original names this time around. This team consists of Mega Pidgeot, Victini, Heatran, Weavile, Tyranitar, Nidoking, Galarian Weezing, Empoleon, Vikavolt, Passimian, and Gourgeist. What are your thoughts, sir?
I think this team has a really bad Cleric. It's only got one source, and it's Aromatherapy from Weezing. But apart from that, I really like the Firewater Grass core here of Victini, not Heatran, but Victini, Gourgeist, and Empoleon. I think that's a really fun one with a nice balance between bulk and murder. I would love to see something that pairs better with Tyranitar. I think Tyranitar itself is nice on this team. It adds a lot of special bulk this team is otherwise not superb at. But there's nothing on this team that likes or cares about sand.
Right. You addressed one of my biggest issues with it, which is there's no cleric whatsoever on this team, which I don't like. It's got good hazards. Nidoking, Heatran, Tyranitar, Empoleon, all good stealth rockers. Every one of them is a good option for stealth rocks. And if you have those other good options for stealth rocks, you don't have to bring stealth rocks on Nidoking. You can bring that fourth good, offensive move on Nidoking.
Or you can slap T-Spikes on it.
Or you can slap Dragon Dance on T-Tar. And you've got Webs with Vikavolt. You've got T-Spikes with Weezing. Early in the draft, I was like, man, this dude's a man after my own heart, trying to draft my season 3 WPF team. Dude's got Victini, Weavile, and Empoleon. Hey, Victini, Weavile is trouble to try to prep for. I personally, when I looked at this team, unless he makes a move, I didn't really see what T-Tar brought to the table. But he's got the double fire. He could drop one of them and pick up something. We'll see. I hope he uses Mega Pidgeot well. I'm interested to see how well he does with Mega Pidgeot.
I think it finally dropped, and now it's finally going to get some use, because Flying Stab is just incredible. It's such a good type to be able to spam no-miss Hurricanes.
Yes.
But no one's ever really drafted Mega Pidgeot, so we've never really seen that. And now that it's dropped a tier, I want to see someone make it shine.
Yeah, absolutely. I think EQ ground spam is pretty good against him. I mean, he's got the Pidgeot and the Vikavolt, but he's got a lot of mons that don't really want to take earthquakes. So that's another thing. Like, Gore guys can take earthquakes all day, but other than that, the things that can get hit by earthquake don't really want to take it, or earth power. Like Galarian Weezing doesn't really want to take earth power.
Weezing can levitate.
Yeah, it can, but then it can.
Yeah, this team doesn't really benefit particularly from misty terrain. Not any more than any other team would, so I could see it running levitate usually.
Levitate or
I don't
neutralizing gas.
Much. I'm looking in this division. I'm not seeing anything that relies so heavily on its ability that neutralizing gas is needed. Maybe Conkeldurr. That would be really funny to take away its guts.
Darn, you could take away sheer force.
That's still gonna hurt. You're still not gonna want to take that hit.
But yeah, I think if he adds something that can can abuse the sand, I'll like this team a lot more.
Yeah, I agree. I want to see a sand abuser, and this team is really good at setting hazards. Yes. Not quite as good at removing them. I mean, Weezing and Weezing and Empoleon are pretty good at consistently doing it.
Empoleon's the best defogger.
That's true, but it's pretty exploitable if you know that the defogger is weak to fighting in ground every week.
Yes.
Who sets rocks the most? It's rock and ground types.
Right. But all right. So moving on, we will get to Coach Critic and the Tall City Toros. We were wondering what TCT meant while we were doing this. And there we go. We have our answer.
Tic Tac, obviously.
He has a team of Mega Manectric, Mew, Corviknight, Infernape, Haxorus, Primarina, Crocodile, Porygon 2, Palisand, Regirock, and Roselia. I like this team, personally. I don't think Mega Manectric is as bad as everyone seems to think it is. Like, yeah, losing HP Ice hurt it, but it got voted down, so it's a lower tier Mega with really good speed and a really good ability and Intimidate, and it gets a good ability before it Mega Evolves, so you can run Lightning Rod to get a nice boost before you Mega Evolve, which is also really, really nice.
Manectric Mega's problem is that it suffers from reverse 4-move slot syndrome, and that it doesn't have 4 moves that are ever worth running. You've got Volt Switch, you've got your more powerful electric move of choice, you've got a fire move, and there isn't a 4th move that's worthwhile to run ever.
No. Yeah.
Toxic, you just might as well slap Toxic in there every week, because you're not running Snarl, you're not running Hyper Beam. Ice Fang maybe is extremely situational. One thing I noticed about this team is there is a big speed gap in a very important place. I think you made note of it too.
92 to 67.
Crocodile to Corviknight is a huge gap, and there are a lot of things in that gap in this division that will take advantage of it.
Yes.
Nidoking, Komodo, Mega Gyarados all love that they can cut tons of speed for power there.
Yeah. They can run Adamant and maybe invest some in HP, maybe live a hit they wouldn't normally live.
Yeah, Adamant and Bulk is going to make all 3 of those much harder to kill.
Yes.
Modest Nidoking's case.
Also, another thing I noticed, I think Freeze Dry is pretty scary for this team. I mean, Ice in general, you have 2 ground types. You've got Roselia is also weak to Ice. Haxorus weak to Ice. But also if you add, the water to Primarina in there, Freeze Dry in general is really scary. You don't have Wish, which you'd like to see. I don't think it's as important, but it's something it's still something I'd like to see. I like to see on a team, obviously your defensive core, you got Pokemon that can heal themselves aside from Regirock. With like Porygon 2 can recover. Mew, if you want to run it bulky, gets, it gets Roost, it gets Soft Boiled. Corviknight, Roost, Roselia gets Synthesis.
Yes, Synthesis.
And like Palisand gets Shore Up. So I mean you have plenty of recovery. But it's just I'd like to see a way to Wish Pass, heal other Pokemon on your team. But yeah, those are really the only things that I saw that were like issues. Was that? But that speed gap is the biggest issue, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. That's a dangerous spot to have a big open gap.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I noticed, this team is excellent at setting hazards. There are 5 Stealth Rockers, 2 Toxic Spikers, and 2 Spikers.
Yes.
But only 2 things can remove hazards. One of them is Mew, who can run a perfectly viable defog set, but doesn't always want to.
Right.
And Corviknight, who is in the same boat, where it can do a really good job defogging, but doesn't always want to. So every week, basically those 2 are going to have to trade back and forth when there might be some weeks when neither of them wants to do it.
That's true. What are your other notes on this team?
I like this team a lot. I think every piece is pretty good. I think Manectric is going to be better than we're giving it credit for, but maybe worse than Critic needs it to be, because I don't think it's necessarily going to be able to cover as much as Critic is going to need it to at that speed tier.
Yeah, that's fair. Because I'm like, I don't hate. I used Mega Manectric now. Whenever I used Mega Manectric back in the day, it had hidden power. So, but I mean, I think it'll be fine. I don't think it's as bad as it's a tier 3 Mega. I mean, so
yeah, I think it's a perfect tier 3 Mega.
You're getting I think it's good value in that tier personally.
Yeah, you got what you paid for, and I think it's going to do fine at that value.
So, all right. Moving on, we have another good name. This is a good name. Sierra Nevada Sizzlers and Coach Goose Fragger. That's a good name. Goose, new to the WPF, not so new in the greater community. UPL. He has a team of Mega Glalie, excuse me, Torn T, Como-O, Slowbro, Darmanitan, Registeel, Florges, Licky Licky, Drapion, Lurantis, and Golurk. So what are your thoughts, sir?
I like a lot of this team, and I think that the thing that's going to let this team down is that it doesn't have good setup. Komodo has the best setup of any mon in the league. But beyond that, that's really it. Like, Tornadus Peak and Nasty Plot, and Lurantis is a slow snowball of death, but it's very bad at being an endgame sweeper. That's really kind of it.
Yeah, I don't like how slow the team is, outside of Tornti. Because like, yeah, your only other Pokemon that's 100 or higher is Mega Glalie, and I don't really count that because Mega Glalie is bad.
I can't wait to watch it explode and take something 100 to 0. I can't wait.
I mean, that's something that it can do. I'm not a fan of Licky Licky on this team. I don't see what it really adds. You could say I could see taking it late as like a wish user like I did in season 8. Like, it was just, I needed something that could use wish, but this team already has something that a better wish support Pokemon in Florges. It doesn't really have the best pivots. It's got Tornti and Darm. Does Lurantis get U-turn?
It does not. Slowbro
gets teleport, but that's about it.
Yep.
That's it. So I mean, I think he's gonna be fighting a slow uphill battle a lot of weeks, unless Darmanitan can kind of go crazy, or he can get Como set up.
This team feels like a team that's gonna very slowly wait and pass wishes back and forth between things for like 30 turns until you make a mistake and Komodo sets up a Clangorous Soul and sweeps your team.
And he's got a very good regen core. And he's got Tornti and Slowbro. Yeah, and if you're not careful, Future Sight teleport Slowbro can wear a team down. But overall,
if that Glalie stacks a couple spikes and then explodes and takes out the right mon, this team's going to be hard to break.
Yeah, I can. Absolutely. Just, I would like to see him add something in that 105, 110 speed tier. And maybe not have a Licky Licky on the team. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think if they didn't have Florges, Licky Licky would be great here.
Yeah.
But they do have Florges, so Licky Licky is redundant.
Agreed. 100%. Alright. So moving on, we have the big boss man himself, Big Shane, and the Tennessee Red Gyarados. He has, surprise, surprise, Mega Gyarados, Latios, Conkeldurr, Amoonguss, Raikou, however you say it, I don't know, Dugtrio, Alomomomomomomomomola, Cofagrigus, Swallow, Steelix, and Raboot. So this team is a team that exists. I think this is a team that on paper I don't like it. But it fits Shane's playstyle perfectly. So it's kind of hard, like, whenever we go to like our final rankings, I'll just say right now, I 100% expect this team to finish higher than where we have it ranked.
For sure.
Because this team is perfect for him. He doesn't have the best removal. He's got, like, Swallow gets defog, Latios gets defog,
Conkeldurr gets defog.
Conk gets defog. I forget Conk gets defog now.
He's just spinning those pillars so fast.
It doesn't have the best momentum. It's okay. Swallow U-turn, Raikou Volt Switch, Raboot U-turn.
The end.
Yeah. Alomomola gets Baton Pass, doesn't it?
No, it does not. It has no ways to move itself. It does not get Flip Turn or Baton Pass.
All right. And it doesn't. It's very limited as far as hazards. And that's. But again, Shane is not the type of person that really worries about hazards too much. So
Doesn't care about setting them, doesn't care about removing them,
Nope.
because the game plan is get the big fish on the field and win.
Yep. Wear your opponent down, get the big fish in, set up 1 or 2 Dragon Dances, and
Spoilers
yeah.
for anyone who
Yeah,
is
spoiler
new to
alert
the
for the
league.
new people. That's how Shane likes to win. How
Every week, that's his strategy. There is never a variation from this strategy, and he's stupidly good at doing
Yep.
it.
And if you can stop him from doing it, good luck.
The game is over. If you kill the fish before it sets up a Dragon Dance, you win.
Yeah.
The whole match crumbles.
But he's so good at just keeping it in the back, is it never sees the field until he's ready. And it's just. But yeah. But yeah. So go ahead.
I don't like that there are 3 things with base 30 speed and then Conkeldurr also at 45. I think this team needs something. It goes straight from very slow to very fast, and the only thing in the middle is Mega Gyarados.
And that's all he
Alamomola is
needs
never
in the
running
middle.
speed, so it does not count. Alamomola does not count.
No.
Raboot is technically in between Gyarados and Latios, but I don't think Raboot's going to do anything with this team.
Yeah, it's not going to come very often, I don't think. Like, I don't think Raboot's a bad option in Tier 5. But just because Libero is such a good ability.
Yeah. But as
it
your
does get
only
U-turn.
mon between 81 and 110, I don't think it's a good mon.
Yeah, absolutely. It shouldn't be your only Pokemon there. So, from one person who has a team type to another person, we go from Shane to Lucky and the Minnesota Lycanrocs. He has Mega Scizor, Zapdos, Volcarona, Pelipper, Tapu Bulu, Kingdra, Noivern, Mudsdale, Frostlass, Kecleon, and Stunfisk. Oh, so you go ahead, sir.
If you haven't noticed it just from hearing it out loud, this is the Rain team.
Yep.
It does one thing. It sets Rain, it kills you with Rain, and if you can beat the Rain, you probably beat this team. And if you can't beat the Rain, you probably instantly lose.
That sums it up, I think.
Yeah, the one thing I noticed about this team, this is the only team in the entire league that has nothing that can pass as a cleric. There is not a single heal bell, aromatherapy, or wish anywhere on this team. Every other team has at least one.
I would have thought, like, that's... Kingdra seems like one of those Pokemon that, like, would just randomly get wish. Doesn't it?
Like, there's half a dozen things that feel like they should have got them in, like, random events, like Frostlass, but they just never did.
Like, doesn't Frostlass... Like, Frostlass doesn't get Freeze Dry, right?
I think it does.
Does it? There's a move that...
Oh, maybe it doesn't. Maybe that's what Glalie gets that Frostlass doesn't. That might be it.
I think you used it in UPL.
Oh, I think I remember. Yeah, I think I remember.
Because I think I helped you prep one week, and you were like, I was like, yo, why don't you have Freeze Dry on Frostlass? Like, it doesn't get it.
Yeah.
You were
That's
all
right,
you were
you're
sad
right.
about it. And for good reason. But my thing, the first few things I noticed was I think Noivern on this team is a little redundant. You can say he wants the speed outside of Rain, but you know, like you said, with this team, if Rain isn't up, something's gone horribly wrong.
Yeah, there are plenty of pieces that work fine out of Rain. Like Zapdos and Volcarona are perfectly competent out of Rain.
Bulu, Scizor.
This team relies on Rain though.
But yeah, like I put the same note on this team that I did on Shane's team, which is Lucky team. This is a Lucky team. Like, he's gonna do better with it than you probably think a normal person should do with this team.
Absolutely. Because
Lucky does really well with Rain. I'm excited. I think Tapu Bulu in Rain is fun. Scizor in Rain is very, very fun. He's gonna be bringing a lot of heavy duty boots. But he's got good momentum. Got really good momentum.
That's true.
So Noivern U-turn, Zapdos gets U-turn and Volt Switch. Scizor
And
gets
Baton Pass.
and Baton Pass. Scizor gets U-turn. Pelipper gets U-turn. And yeah, I think this team's fine. It's a rain team. It's a rain team, and it's Lucky piloting it, so it's probably gonna do pretty well.
This team has terrible hazard setting. It's got 3 Stealth Rockers and 1 Spiker. All 3 Stealth Rockers are slow mons that aren't all coming any weeks. There's probably not going to be any weeks where Mudsdale and Stunfisk both show up. And Kecleon is also one of those ones that's kind of like the single extra slot.
That's another thing whenever I was looking at the team. I don't understand why Stunfisk is here, but you pointed out, as a way to check Regieleki, which is in his division.
Yeah, I would tier 5, just a hard stop, a tier 1 that you're going to face twice.
I would think there's better options personally, but I mean, it is what it is. But if you're going to use a tier 5 to try to stop a tier 1, I get it. You're not going to have the best options. I get it. But if you're ready to move on.
Yeah, I think this, like we said, this is one of those teams where it's really important that we're ranking just on what we see and not on who the coach is, because this team is absolutely going to do better than we ranked it.
Right. And next up is my nephew, Caden, and the Whitman Whiscash. He has my favorite Mega Metacham, Dragapult, Jirachi, Vaporeon, Regieleki, Rotom-Mow, Incineroar, Aromatisse, Pincurchin, Swoobat, and my favorite tier 5 in Cryoculum. He's got 2 of my favorites. Overall, this is a team it has all the speed. It has all the speed.
It has 2 of the 4 fastest Pokemon in the entire league.
The biggest thing I think whenever I look at it is you drafted Dragapult number 1 overall, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that pick at all. Dragapult is as safe as a number 1 overall pick as you can get. However, you only drafted 1 Ghost Resist. You only drafted 2 Dragon Resist, 1 Dragon Resist, 1 Dragon Immunity. And you drafted 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you drafted 3 Psychic types. So you drafted 3 more Ghost weaknesses. Which I think could make it, really hard to deal with Ghost spam. But I mean, I understand. I don't know. I think that's a problem. Also, dude, drop Swoobat. It's just a bad Pokemon. You never should have picked it. And it could have better hazards. Hazards are just they're just not. Yeah, Jirachi gets rocks,
and then Pincurchin gets both spikes, and that is. I think Pincurchin is better than you do. But yeah. I think we both agree that Pincurchin is overall pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't get why. Yeah, you convinced me, because originally I had why Pincurchin on there, and you talked me into why Pincurchin has value on this team.
It has value because if the ground type disappears from any of the teams this team faces, electric terrain boosted Regieleki is literally unstoppable. It's too fast and hits too hard if the ground type is gone. Which is also why I think Stunfisk actually has value for Lucky, because Regieleki is such a threat.
But what are your thoughts on this team overall?
I really like the bulky core here. I think Jirachi, Rotom-Mow, Vaporeon, and Incineroar is a great defensive backbone. You've got pivoting, you've got rocks, you've got consistent rocks in Jirachi. Even if it has to bring them every single week, it will always get them up. That is going to be a hard core to break. I think Regieleki...
And that's good, and that's 2 really good wish passers, too. In Jirachi and Vaporeon.
And then you've got a backup one in Aromatisse if you ever need it.
Yeah.
I think Mega Metacham and Regieleki and Dragapult are all just going to be on, a rotating basis of which 2 are the most useful this week. 2 of them are going to show. Probably not all 3 every time, but whichever 2 break the best are going to show up, do their job.
And honestly, his team has so much speed above it that normally whenever you draft Mega Metacham, you want to have webs. I don't know if you need webs for Mega Metacham to be to be really effective with this team.
I agree.
Just because your opponents are going to be focusing on trying to outspeed Dragapult and drinking themselves to death trying to think about how they don't outspeed Regieleki even with Scarfs. So they're not going to think about their base 100 speed Metacham.
And even if they do, that means they have underestimated Dragapult and Regieleki, and now those 2 outspeed it.
Yep.
So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't here.
Because like whenever he took Mega Metacham, like I DM'd him, I was like, dude, do you have webs? And he's like, nope. I was like, oh, Mega Metacham loves webs. And then like
then you told him to get a Stelgor who doesn't learn webs.
It doesn't. Yeah, I always forget it doesn't get webs. I always think it does. It should. It should. It's a ninja bug. It should be able to slow down its opponents.
Caden, you should draft a Selgor just so you have 3 of the 5 fastest mons.
There you go. Done.
But I think Zubat is definitely the weak link here. Pincurchin, I think, needs a chance to prove itself. I think it has value. It's just going to be, can Caden get that value out of it? Because it is very frail, and it really only does 2 things. It sets the terrain, and then it sets a spike as it dies.
Yep.
And I think if you can get value out of that turn, you're going to have a great time with it. And if you can't, drop it early and get something that you can get value out of.
Right. All right, so moving on. We have Pardus and the Lafayette Larvitar. And his team consists of Mega Garchomp, Blacephalon, Rotom Wash, Scizor, Galarian Zapdos, Gardevoir, Shaman, Snorlax, his round 1 Hitmontop, Weezing, and Lapras. Oh shoot. I have he's kind of lacking in the momentum a little bit. I know he's got Zapdos, Rotom, Scizor. That's about it for pivots.
Gardevoir can teleport, and
you don't really want it to.
No, it's probably not ever going to, but it has that option.
It has okay hazards, like Garchomp can run rocks, Hitmontop can set rocks.
Hitmontop cannot set rocks.
Cannot set rocks. I'm stupid.
He's got one
I'm getting
rocker.
Tired. I'm getting tired.
He has one rocker in Garchomp, and he has
Scizor. Why do I think Scizor can set rocks?
He's got one setter of rocks, and that's Garchomp, and one setter of toxic spikes, and that's Weezing, and that's all of his hazards.
I'm an idiot. I'm tired. Okay, we've been at this for a minute, and I've never done these before, so I'm falling apart. I'm falling apart here. But yeah, go ahead, sir.
This is the slowest top speed in the league. Blacephalon is the fastest mon at 107. Every other team at least hits the 110 barrier. But overall, this team is faster than Nelson's team, which is the next slowest, just by virtue of having a couple of things in that 90 to 100 range. I think everything is solid. I don't think there's any weak links on this team.
Yeah.
And I think considering Pardus accidentally drafted Hitmontop early round one, I think this is a really respectable team.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I told him that in DMs. I was like, dude, you ended up drafting a good team. I think this is a good team. And we can point out the speed, what we would consider a flaw. But Pardus never really concerns himself with speed when he drafts. He's shown he'll run 3 scarfs. He doesn't care.
Honestly, this team's gonna do great. I can see nothing on this team that I'm gonna see it show up in a match and go, oh, there's the weak link right there. Even the kind of the worst mon on this whole team, Lapras, is gonna have value.
Oh yeah, look at whenever he faces Lucky, Lapras is a good mon against Lucky's team.
Let me see I'm gonna check the schedule. Wow.
I mean, they play each other twice. They're in the same division.
Oh, they do. You're right.
Yeah, they're in the same division.
Twice.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
So like Lapras is a good fit on this team.
Yeah, you're like oh yeah, well Zapdos beats Lapras. Yeah, but Zapdos can't come in on Lapras because that freeze drive is
Right.
gonna hurt.
Yeah, it's gonna hit it hard. But yeah, I think he drafted a good team. I think there's a few small gripes with it. And all things considered, after you draft Hitmontop early round 1, if you're still able to put a team like this together, speaks to how good of a drafter Pardis really is.
Yeah. I'm sad that he's in my division because it means I have to battle him twice.
Dude, I feel your pain. I've been in his division like a couple times. It's something. So moving on, last and certainly least, I mean not least, my bad.
Wow. Oh, hurtful.
We have you, sir, and your Boston Red Sox. And you have Zardex, Tapu Fini, Melmetal, Nihilego, Scolipede, Sarina, Araquanid, Moltres Galar, Sandaconda, Wigglytuff, and Rotom Ghost. I'll just say Rotom Ghost instead of Rotom regular. Do you want me to go first, sir, since it's your team?
Go ahead.
I don't like that your only wisher is Wigglytuff, because Wigglytuff, I know like, you've said why it's here. It's here to check one Pokemon in your division, and that's fine. It's understandable.
Also, all the wishers I wanted disappeared before I could draft one.
So you have any priority except for Fake Out Sarina?
Charizard gets Quick Attack, Rotom gets Sucker Punch, Galarian Moltres gets Sucker Punch.
So are you gonna run any priority ever except for Fake Out on Sarina?
I don't even think Sarina learns Fake Out.
I'm pretty sure it does.
But Moltres will probably run Sucker Punch several times.
Pretty sure Sarina gets Fake Out. I want to say it does. I'm pretty sure I ran it whenever I had it. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure it does. But
either way, Fake Out is bad, and I'm not going to run Fake Out, even if it does learn it.
But overall, I think those are the only two like main problems that I saw with the team. But overall, I think Tapu Fini with Melmetal is just really, really good. You don't have to worry about Melmetal getting paralyzed or burned, which is really, really nice. You don't have to worry about Scolipede getting burned, which is nice. You don't have to worry. Araquanid and Sarina, I've had those two on the same team before. That's a really, really nice core to have together. I think Melmetal's a lot of fun. Melmetal's so strong. Find Banded Double Iron Bash switch-ins. There aren't a whole lot of them. I think this is a very solid team overall. It's got some good setup options with Scolipede, Charizard, Moltres, Tapu Fini, all very good setup options. You've got solid hazards. You've got all the hazards, which is
the third team that has them all,
which is awesome. Your only speed gap is one that you don't really concern yourself with, and that is between 71 and 45.
Yeah, I mean there is stuff, especially in this division, where that might matter, but I'm not super concerned with it.
Right. It's not one that you're not gonna lose sleep over that speed gap. But yeah, overall, I think it's a good team. I think you did well drafting it. You have a lot of mons that I really, really like, and I'm excited to see how you use it.
I wish drafting. First of all, I wish Lucky hadn't taken Mega Scizor, because that's the Mega I wanted.
Yes, we were talking about that during the draft.
But I wish I had remembered before I drafted Mega Charizard that Misty Terrain half the damage of Dragon type moves, because I'm gonna forget that in a match.
It's gonna
do less than I expect to do, and I'm gonna lose a match because of it. I'm calling it now.
Which it's definitely something that's possible. But
I think I'm gonna get better value out of Wigglytuff than everybody thinks I'm gonna get, because on raw calc, it takes hits a little bit worse than Clefable, but not nearly as bad as you think it would. and the wish it can pass is huge. And it's got that Gen 1 syndrome where it learns literally everything.
Well, and it got like I think what helps you with Wigglytuff in this specific scenario is that you have to play Dragapult twice, and it kept its normal typing.
Yep.
So it's immune to both of Dragapult's stabs, which is really, really nice in this division.
The only thing Dragapult can do to hit it is Steel Wing, and it's very easy to EV to make that a 3-hit KO.
And if you read Steel Wing, you can switch into it.
Like, my team loves a Dragapult that's either locked into Steel Wing or that can't afford other coverage because of Steel Wing.
Right. So, yeah, I don't hate the Wigglytuff pick personally. I think I understand. I don't like Wigglytuff the Pokemon, but I get why you picked it, and I don't hate that. I don't hate that it's here.
I think this team's going to be a lot of fun. It might not be the best team in the league, but I think it's going to be very consistent for me.
Let me make sure we got something. So, with that being said, let's go to the power rankings, the actual rankings themselves. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. Why everybody's here.
You're all 16th. You're all terrible.
Hey, Panda's not here anymore.
Okay? Oh. That's right. We have a new Panda.
So skip to here, I guess. I'll put a little timestamp. An hour and 11 minutes in. Sweet Jesus.
It's because you lifted every mon on every team.
I mean, yeah. That's just a run anyway. So, what we're going to do this, we're going to start at rank 16. We're going to go up to rank 1. And then I will have a small announcement at the end. And then that'll be it. And again, I have to reiterate, this is just our opinion. Don't take everything super seriously here. This is just a thing to do for fun. Get people talking in the Discord. And yeah.
Before you start, I would also like to say there was a big clump of people who were very close together. So the difference between, I think it was like 8, I think is the cutoff. 8 to like 14. We had a really hard time putting them in a specific spot. They're all it's hard to rank them around each other because they're very similar.
Because the way, the peek behind the curtain here, the way we did it was we each made our own rankings, and what you're seeing is the average of our two. So some of these, there were teams that I had higher and T4 you had them lower, and vice versa. I think the team I had in 16 you had in 8, and the team I had in like 7 you had in 16.
Yes, that is correct.
So that's just to let you guys know, like, there's a big discrepancy. I feel like there's like a top handful of teams that we 100% agreed on, and then after that it was just anyone could be anywhere basically.
Yep. Like,
it's just so. And I think I said this at the beginning, but you know, if you're proved high, if you're moved high, if you're placed high, prove us right. And if you are put near the bottom, prove us wrong. I would love nothing more than be proven wrong.
Agreed.
So, all right.
Go ahead.
Number 16. We have Rock and the T-Town Toxics. Number 15. We have Caden and the Whitman Whiskash. At 14, we have Panda of Redness, and I do not remember what his team name is. Do you have that?
Not on the sheet I'm looking at. DWD.
Boo. Boo this man.
Wait, here it is. It's loading. Distortion World Doof.
There it is. We had some interesting names this season.
Yeah, everybody gets ranked first for team names.
Yeah, team names this year were really, really good. The 13 we have Goose Fragger and the
Sierra Nevada Scissors.
Nice. Also very good. At 12 we have Nelson and the
SUP is the Super Hoopa.
Super Hoopa. That's fun to say. At 11, we have Wolferous and the
Hisuian Hydragons.
At number 10, we have Waka, and he changed his name, didn't he?
It's CHE, Chelsea
There
Chestnuts.
it is. At 9, we have Big Shane and the
Tennessee Red Gyarados.
Yep. At number 8, we have Ryushi.
With the Pignite Anything Agency.
At 7, we have Critic.
The Tall City Tauros.
At 6, we have Lucky.
The Minnesota Lycanroc.
At 5, we have Pardus.
Lafayette Larvitar.
At 4, we have Zelda.
The Warsaw Rapidash.
3 is T4U.
Boston Red Sox.
2, Kronos.
GWS is the GWS Gladiators.
And number 1, our number 1 ranked team is Nolan. And I'm going to say this one because it's super fun to say, and I know what it is. The Wooloo Mooloo Wooloos.
That's so good. It's the best. I love that team name.
So that's our tier list right there. Our power rankings for the season. Thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna put a link down below, potentially to the rule doc. We're gonna do one of the things that I wanted to focus on when I decided that I wasn't going to play this season was side events to try to keep people who maybe didn't apply, maybe applied and didn't get in. Just to give us something to do. And the first thing that we're going to do is a random word challenge tournament. Basically the way it's going to work is everyone's going to get a 6-letter word. You're going to use the first letters of those words to make a team on Showdown. I have rules made up. And we're going to do a tournament. We're going to have the matchups randomly generated, and there's going to be a tournament. You're going to get a new word every round, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. That's the first event that we're going to have this season, and we're going to see how it goes. If it goes really well, we might do it more than once. And like I said, I will have a link. I have a rules sheet of the rules I've come up with. But I think overall, I think it sounds like a fun idea.
I think it's going to be really funny watching people get random, crazy, silly words and have to justify a Pokemon for it.
Well, it makes people get creative, which I think is like really, really fun.
Exactly.
So you might have to use a Pokemon you've never used before.
And because you're going to get different words every round, you're not necessarily stuck. If you get a letter with, you don't want to use any of those mons, you've only got to do it for one round.
Right. And what we might do is something we could discuss is like if you sign up for it and like you lose round 1, we could even keep like a loser's bracket kind of thing going so people can keep playing if they enjoyed it and had fun with it. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today. Thank you guys very, very much for watching. This is a long one, but power rankings typically are.
Yeah, thanks for sticking around.
And yeah, we are reviving the WPF YouTube channel. Another thing I think we're gonna do is me and T4U may be doing like either a live reaction or like a live commentary of like a battle of the week every week. We haven't really talked much about I mentioned it to you as an idea and you thought it sounded like fun. At least
I'm in.
We haven't really talked about it much since then. So obviously it can't be the battle that's already happened week 1 because I'm pretty sure we both already watched it.
We're gonna have to pick ahead of time which battle it's gonna be.
I sent you a DM the other day.
You did. Mine was one of them. I can't not live react my own battle. No,
I said I couldn't do yours. We're getting off track. So thank you guys very, very much for watching. Again, like and subscribe. I don't even know if I'm subscribed to this channel. Hell.
I think I am.
I think I am too.
We're
gonna revive the dead channel. So thank you guys very much, and have a good one and have fun. Enjoy the season.
Bye, guys.